Well, it is Tuesday, the 31st of July, 2012. Quick silver update. This is the final day of the month as we are now pretty much halfway through the Northern Hemisphere summer. And well, this looks as if it's going to be the third day in which it has closed above the 18-period average of highs. It's also the fourth day that it has stayed above the 18 average of closes, and these rising averages are starting to advance. Just because they're starting to advance doesn't necessarily mean that this extremely long intermediate term bear market is over. After all, we had a situation in here where we had a couple of weeks with the rising average, but it was unable to break out past this high after consolidated within the band. This was the breakout part in here. So now we've had this breakout amongst the band. Nothing like we had back here, but it's extremely important now that this previous level of resistance in or around 27 3/5, 2760 to hold, and then finally take out these highs and then work its way up towards the 30 handle. If we take a look at this from point A to point B, which I've been looking at since it started moving up in here, and we're now using the 9-hour chart for this. This will be the last time we'll use the 9. Tomorrow we'll have to use the 10-hour chart because the top is on period number 1. But it did manage to come back up to this level and find a top 1 cent short of where the Fibonacci line happens to be. It's 28.40. The levels I've seen is that it topped today at 28.39. So just a penny short within this level. So as far as that 27.60, really it's the 27.51 Fibonacci level talking about that is an absolute must for it to hold. And quite frankly, I'm going to say the same thing that I did yesterday, and that is this previous resistance. If this holds and manages to make its way higher, then I really do like the odds that it's going to take this level out and then test the previous 30 level. For there are situations where it's both bullish and bearish for the exact same thing to happen. Not so much that I like to play this as a short on this mark in here, but it's both bullish and bearish for it to sell off, which it has. For it to be bullish, it would need to obviously make the considerable higher low, like again here, maybe back down to here, and then develop the pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Of course, if it's bearish, then eventually you're going to make a lower high to here, come back down, something like this, and then that's just not looking good at all. So it's very difficult to state how this would come into play. And when we look back at the daily chart one more time, as far as 30 was concerned, this was a spot I felt it was both bullish and bearish for it to go higher. And it was. It did go up to this point in here. And obviously on a bullish level, then it would have held support here and went higher, or at least on this bottom move here, done something like that. But no, it kept going lower. Therefore, any move to 30, again, I feel would be both bearish and bullish to sell off. For it to be bullish, of course, if it was to go up to 30, you probably pretty much wanted to come back down somewhere like that and then take it out on a bullish level. But when you see something that's got a same direction is both bullish and bearish, and oftentimes it can work out very, very well. Finally, the monthly chart this is the final day of the month. And this is the second least volatile month within this 100-period chart. There's about 4 months with around 7.5% volatility from the lowest point to the highest point. This one included, the one that you can barely see. And quite frankly, because of this, it's maybe the summertime blues, but it's an inside month, showing still the big indecision. The same thing is true. You break down below the support level, you watch out. But that's why you say you'll wait for it to have a clear break below, because if it doesn't do so and it keeps on holding the support level, once that thing's ready to get going, boom, the thing is going to really spark really, really well for upside gains. And also, when you have the big, large red candles like this, then that would generally happen within the breakdown. On the breakdown, I'm looking for support roughly at around $19, $20, $21 an ounce. And if, and only if, it does manage to come back down towards here, the odds of which that this area would be a spectacular bottom fishing level, I think, is extremely high. Now, as far as this thing to really get going, really getting above this high and into this little area here, meaning that it starts to rally, you got to develop a higher low, something like this. And then it looks like the correctionary phase would probably be over, and the 50 levels, the next target. So quite frankly, long term, you go up to 50, pull back a little bit. That's the type of pattern I'd be expecting. But that, of course, is a long ways away because we are looking at the monthly chart. I don't expect August to be any different. Another unvolatile month, most likely. Not always the case, of course, but most likely this thing will get going after Labor Day, which is about 5 weeks away. And thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.